Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ari, and today we're going to have some more stories about our toxic life. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to my channel, like the video, if you enjoy it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now without further ado, let's go. Today's first story. In this story, OP27, engaged since 2019, faced relationship challenges like intimacy decline and conflicting schedules. After a breakup and reconciliation, he discovered his fiance's infidelity through explicit messages, detailing her involvement with another man in April and May of the previous year. Now let's get into the story. I don't know what I'm looking for by sharing this. I'm just lonely, sad and disappointed. And maybe I just need some reassurance that I shouldn't consider taking her back. I've 27 male been together with my fiance 24 female since the end of 2019. In my mind, things were going great. I proposed last year on a mountain near a waterfall and she said yes. We talked about what the wedding would be like and having children and all that. However, during our relationship, she became less interested in having sex, like from 1 or 2 times a day to 1 time a week or so. I hated that and tried to make things better. I was always careful with her and made sure she finished. She rarely reciprocated the things I always made sure to do. I hated that, but I accepted it. I am guilty because I am not good looking and I'm a boring person. I am a web designer and I usually end up staying up late working. And she woke up way sooner than I did because she was going to college at that time. She graduated last summer. I mentioned this because that was one of her common complaints, that I stayed up late and we didn't have the same schedule. I am guilty of that indeed, and the fact that I haven't had many activities outside the internet. She's also kind of lonely. She doesn't have many friends, and in my mind we were getting along great until this May, when a few days prior to my birthday, she told me she wanted to break up, was devastated for a week. She didn't say anything, and then she texted me that we had to talk and maybe sort things out because she wanted to get back with me. I forgot to mention that I moved in with her last year after I proposed around October. She told me that she was frustrated that I wasn't paying attention to her, and I wasn't helping her enough with the chores. That is true. I was also frustrated by the fact that she was never in the mood. She said it was because she just didn't feel the need to do it. I guess it was a vicious cycle. We talked, got back together, and sort of moved back to her place. However, in that particular period of time, she unintentionally hinted that she had been seeing someone during the week we were separated. I pushed her and she confessed that she had been going out with the guy, but said she didn't do anything with him. I was mad, but oh, little did I know that it was worse than I could ever imagine. We got over it. And a few days ago, with the seed of doubt planted in my mind, she asked me to look for something. In her purse, I found 2 packs of condoms. One opened with one missing. I confronted her, and she told me that she didn't remember, that she would never cheat on me, that they were old. However, the unopened pack was from 2020. I acted like I believed her, and maybe a part of me did. But yesterday, while cleaning her desk, I moved her mouse and the screen of the laptop turned on. I want to mention that never have I ever invaded the privacy of anyone, but given the last days, I needed answers. I read on her Facebook chats with a girlfriend of hers that indeed, she wanted me back and she didn't do anything with him, even though she lied to me about how she met him. With a sigh of relief, I searched for the word 6 in a conversation with another girl she was close to last year. I wanted to know what I was doing wrong or why she didn't like it. And oh boy, did my world crash right there. The first result was from last year, where my fiancé described how hot her athletic colleague, how much she wanted him. It was a graphic description. The others described how she went to a coffee shop with him in a short skirt, and then she went to his house and had sex with him. That was during the months of April and May. I don't know how many times it happened. She said she was trembling and that he had sent her a couple of pictures and she couldn't refuse him. At that point, my hands were shaking and I felt sick. I went back even further and she had talked to her about other guys she was talking to in March, and she said she was considering getting Tinder. I confronted her yesterday, and she couldn't believe I found out for half an hour. She kept saying she hadn't cheated on me until she started crying and got on her knees. She said that it was a mistake and that she loved me and wanted to marry me and have my children and all that. I got what I could carry of my things, packed them into my car, and left. Today's second story. In this story, Opie's wife cheated on him multiple times, engaging in affairs with different individuals. After discovering the infidelity, the user decided to proceed with a divorce, seeking support and advice on handling the situation. He carefully planned the divorce, involving legal steps, gathering evidence, and even predicting his wife's and her family's reactions. My wife, 29 of 7 years, had cheated on me with one of her longtime friends. In mid-July, I discovered text messages back and forth between them after getting suspicious and finally checking her phone. The texts I saw were from a day after D-Day about how good their sex was. I love, use, and even discussing a mild fight we had where she recounted things I said and they both laughed about it. I tried to explain that we may be entering a new stage of marriage where we were comfortable and complacent. It might feel a little boring, but maybe that's just how things get once you're married for more than a few years. But she was convinced that was wrong and that we had drifted apart despite spending our days together full of good conversation, good sex, etc. She doesn't know that I know. I've talked to a lawyer and have divorce papers in the works. Note this is the second time she has done this. The first time she cheated was when we were dating. We had a 6-month split, worked things out, got back together, and were later married. On the rare occasions we would talk about her past infidelity, I told her that if she ever did it again, we would be done. We've been fine for 6 years with no problems. About a year ago, she began getting a little colder, wouldn't accept my affection. She didn't hug me back at all. I guess this distance culminated in her affair. Fast forward to today. I've known for 3 weeks and have been waiting for paperwork before confronting her. At first, she was clearly not interested in me, but this week she seems to be feeling guilty about her actions and is acting a little more interested in me. She has been trying to do what she can to make up for her actions in her own way, all without Miss ever talking about it, like washing dishes, cleaning, and cooking, all while refusing any help. It's like she is punishing herself. In my mind, she has completely betrayed me and I can no longer trust her. She has caused me such pain and cannot possibly love if she is able to do all that. Financially, we have been okay, but we have struggled a bit because she didn't want to work. She finally started working and has done for a year. But it's a minimum wage, part-time job, and it barely covers her bills. I feel like I have to pull all the weight and she is not really my equal. At the same time, I still care about her, value the life we built, and will worry about what will happen to her. I think she could easily fall into a deep depression. There is really only one way forward, and that is divorce. But I am worried about how she will take it, and it will be hard to resist taking her back. I almost wish she would happily leave with her new person. I know I have to divorce her, but I'm not looking forward to the heartbreak, loneliness, and whatever else I can't even predict. How do I do this? Update. So I originally thought she began cheating in July. But nope. Not only did her affair begin in May, but from March to May, she had another affair, this one involving unprotected sex with a heroin addict. So the grand total of cheating is 4 dudes. Now onto the current AP. First, she established his support by lying to him about our relationship. She told him I insulted her and was always me, which is not true at all. This gave him justification. So he began manipulating her, telling her that she deserved better, that I'm a piece of crap, and that I'm a child, all kinds of stuff. He actually fancied himself a relationship coach. He would listen to her complaints about me and tell her how I would respond or the reason I did that. The things she was mad about. I had no idea they'd bothered her. She never told me. Remember, he has never met me, yet he thinks he can predict all my behavior. This guy prides himself on his control over others. He bragged about it. He thinks he's some relationship guru and it's ridiculous. He is a church minister. He bragged about how he helps a teen group get closer to God. In one instance, he bragged about how he helped a teenager break up with his girlfriend and then did a good job consoling the girlfriend because she was then suicidal. So she has fallen for this good guy act. Total manipulation. Hook, line, and sinker. He refers to her living with me as a prison and calls me the ass, while I am the one who hugs her, who pays her bills, and who happily greets her when she gets home from work, who values her above all others. I do have to come clean. I value self-improvement very much and believe people should always be striving to improve. But she has not improved at all over the last 10 years. She is overweight, dropped out of college, and is working a minimum wage part-time job. Years ago, I tried to get her to improve. I asked her to go to the gym with me, to do a sport, anything, but she refused. She was unemployed for 4 years while I paid her student loans and alarmingly high credit debt. I asked her to find a job every week, but she never did. I asked her to go to school, telling her that I'd pay and that she could study anything she wanted to. She never went. After a few years of requesting her to work on herself, I slowly got frustrated to the point where I began criticizing her for her lack of effort. Sometimes I was so frustrated with it that I was mean about it. This was very wrong of me. I stopped all my criticism a few years ago, before her affairs began. She truly loved me, even when I was still meanly criticizing her. Yet now that I'm not, she doesn't love me. My criticism didn't come from a place of hate. I believe that marriage is a partnership that should be equal, that she should be my equal. I wanted to help her gain equality in our relationship, but she didn't want it. I think we are supposed to be able to lean on each other for support. Yet she leaned on me. Only now that I'm in school and need some support, she has completely fallen apart, which manifests in affairs and resentment, all without addressing her issues with me. If she has a problem with me, she brings it to AP, and he tells her what I will probably say. She told her mom about her affair and tried to say how bad I was to her, but she didn't believe my wife. My wife got angry that her mom wasn't on her side and complained about it to AP, who quickly took her side and rationalized her mom's stance. My wife is looking for someone to agree with her, to justify the awful things she's done to me. She feels shame and hides it by convincing herself how terrible a person I am. She has very little emotional intelligence and barely pays attention to me, can't read me at all, yet she is an open book to me. Her mental image of me is not at all who I really am. She is stuck on the person I used to be. But I've changed a lot over the last few years. But she never noticed. She told AP if she leaves me, she has nothing. I am a busy student, so I don't have tons of time to give her attention like I used to. I think this is what triggered the cheating. If anything else challenges her as a priority for me, she goes wildly unstable. So here we are today. I've seen all of her stuff. She still has no idea I am aware of her despicable ways. I have divorce papers coming Wednesday, and I'm counting the minutes until I can blow up her world. I was going to try to do things nicely, but now after reading it, all I want to do is go scorched earth. I want her to really understand the depth of her horrible behavior. I posted last week that I was not looking forward to it, but now I am. I can't wait to read her text with AP back to her and show her just how messed up it is. I can't wait to point out all the obvious manipulation AP has done with her. I am looking for support for my situation and possible solutions to a dilemma. We have a dog that she is obsessed with like a child and will fight too and nail for, but neither of us has money to fight it over in court. So how can I keep my dog without incurring $30,000 in court and lawyer fees? Yes, she is crazy enough to do that over the dog. Update. I guess I got ahead of myself with that 3-day countdown. The papers took a lot longer than I was told. Well, now I have them and all the pieces are starting to fall into place. I am planning to have her served a week from today, but as we all know, things may not play out exactly as planned. My soon-to-be ex-wife still has no idea that I discovered her cheating over a month ago and have been planning for our separation. I have been living with her and acting like nothing is wrong this whole time, and she is completely oblivious. It has actually been difficult to not catch her. I've seen her texting him and would have caught her over 15 times at this point. She never even changed her password, and she still talks about him like he is just a friend of hers. It can be hard to keep my cool when she is talking about him, but I do what I have to do. Sometimes I feel like secretly plotting against her to pull the rug out from under her is wrong. Not wrong to do to her, but immoral for me to do something like this regardless of who is on the receiving end. Some days it is difficult to hide that I am angry with her about what she did. Some days it feels like some weird dream I'm living in. We had a big fight about our relationship in which I was able to call her out on lots of her poor choices without giving up the fact that I know about everything. Told her she didn't love me and that I haven't been important to her for a long time. That was a week ago, and I have been using that big fight as a cover. So now if I am angry or cold, she thinks it is because of that big fight we had. I was the only thing holding our relationship together. And now that I know about her infidelity, I have no reason to put in any effort. As a result, our relationship has drastically fallen apart. I explained all this to her, and it seems she realized it was true. Since that fight, she seems to have chosen me over her affair partner. This is obviously not how it should be. She chose me when we got married, so there should not even be a choice to be made here. She has been putting more effort into showing me attention and communicating. She wants to make things work, but from my perspective, way too little, way too late. There is nothing she can do to change the situation she put us in. She made her bed now, and now she has to lie in it. This infidelity began because her position as the absolute center of my life was challenged. And her large amount of attention from me, from which she derives happiness, was challenged. So she sought attention elsewhere rather than communicating with me. What I find truly hilarious is that the men she has chosen to have affairs with don't treat her as number one either. One guy regularly ignored her for weeks. The other guy has an ex-wife and child that he even told her would always be his priority. He's even been seen around town with other girls. Remember that this guy is a youth pastor too. So she is not even number two to this guy, even though they tell each other how special their relationship is. He even told her he plans on moving to co-parent his kid with his ex. But none of that matters to her. How is she okay with that, but can't handle me focusing on school? So here is the update. As of today, as a response to our big fight, she decided she will be staying with her parents for a few weeks to clear her head. This makes things way easier for me, as I don't have to worry about her refusing to leave or attacking me or any other crazy things she may do. She already has plans to come back. Little does she know I have arranged for her to get divorce papers served the day after she gets to her parents' place. So I have a week to go, and it can't be over soon enough. As much as I want it to be over, it means this is also the last week I will ever see my dog. It really sucks. We are super attached, but I have no hope of keeping him. There are some special circumstances that I don't want to explain, but it's basically impossible for me to keep him. I'm going to miss him a lot. Update. I did it. She got blindsided and was completely devastated by the news. I discovered my wife's multiple affairs over a month ago, but I didn't confront her. Instead, I carefully and secretly planned out how to remove her from my life with as few problems for me as possible. I have been acting totally normal for the last month, being cheerful, buying her things, having conversations, etc. It has been a long month. I wanted to call her out so badly it was on the tip of my tongue. But I never did because it would make things difficult for me. So I hit the gym, lawyered up, got papers drafted, collected over 450 pages of explicit messaging, set up a new debit account, ready to transfer funds, and convinced her to take some time at her parents' house. Everything, and I mean everything, went a plan. I even predicted the exact reaction she and her family would have. I froze her credit card with my name and transferred half her money to the new debit account as soon as I heard the papers were delivered. She left yesterday with her mom. I just gave her a hug and said, "Take care of yourself." She said okay. This morning, a process server arrived at her parents' home and delivered the papers. She had no idea I knew what she was doing. Her parents claimed they had no idea about anything. She got completely blindsided and was apparently hysterical. I say hysterical because get this, I still haven't talked to her. Yep, her mom called me and I had to explain the situation to her. Just higher level details though. Even in a situation like this, her mom is trying to solve the problems for her. It's absolutely ridiculous. I can't even discuss my personal relationship with my wife privately. This is a 29-year-old woman who is letting her mom mediate and talk on her behalf. Although I did have a good relationship with my mill, and she did push my wife to work on her marriage, I find this so beyond idiotic of them both. I handled everything with tact, kept my composure, and didn't let my emotions do the talking. I had to really bite my tongue though. My nil in discussing getting her wife's things was using language that implied I was responsible for getting her stuff back to her. She suggested I pack the stuff, rent a car, and drive the 4 hours to deliver it. The stuff in question is mostly t-shirts and lotion bottles. So I told her it is not my responsibility. She comes back with, if you respect me so much as you say, you would do me the favor. Oh man, not only is she getting way too far into our business, but she is going to try to manipulate me. I just said that had nothing to do with this and that I could say the same thing to her. I said, please don't attempt to manipulate me again. I'm already giving you lots of respect here. By keeping a lot of issues off the table, I can decide to bring it to court and prove infidelity costing us both a lot of money. I can claim theft of our dog. I can give evidence to her AP's employer, which will get him fired from his youth, pastor position, and others. I'm trying to make this as affordable and simple as possible. She backed down and will be picking up the stuff. Now I have to wait for them to make a move. I'm guessing they're trying to hire a lawyer and refute the dog ownership, which is the biggest fighting point yet oddly not brought up. Her mom is probably comforting her and telling her that her multiple illicit affairs are okay, that dragging her husband through the mud, talking crap about him every chance she gets, even while still coming home at night and expecting love and affection is all okay. Someone in another thread mentioned she might have borderline personality disorder. Based on some stuff she said, I think she does. Is it odd that they are so worried about such insignificant belongings right now? Yes. Is it odd my wife is not handling this with me? Yes. Should I refuse to deal with her mom? Maybe. Is my wife mentally unstable? Guess so. Do I let them come get her stuff? I don't really want to deal with that. I hate all of this. I am being straightforward and honest with them, and they are trying to pull this stunt on me. I hate that I might have to resort to twisting their arm. I hate that I have always been a meal ticket for my wife and just the sucker paying her bills to her parents. I hate that I can't even discuss this with her civilly and rationally like an adult. I hate that her mom lied to me about not knowing her daughter had affairs. I hate that they are so confused by my actions. I hate that I instinctively think of her and want to ask her what kind she wants when I see ice cream at the store. But most of all, I hate how even now, I am the bad guy to them. Update. I noticed a few messages asking how everything eventually turned out with my situation. In a nutshell, good. It was a clean break. Absolutely zero communication, no issues whatsoever. She moved on, I moved on. That's it. It was essentially a very expensive breakup. The single thing that sucks is I had to give up my dog. But looks like he is still living happily with her. After the divorce, I graduated, got a job, and moved. She moved to her parents' guest bedroom and never moved out. She got a low-wage job and hasn't done a thing since. She is dating someone, but that's all I know because she has me blocked even though I've never said a thing. I dated a couple of girls and found one that was extremely special and showed me love I didn't know existed. Then I proceeded to lose her. So I'm single and doing extremely well with dating. Literally every single woman I met has been leagues better than my ex-wife, but I would like to be back with my recent girlfriend again. Such is life. I got a great job, doing very well financially while she is 30-something, living with her retired parents, so I guess I came out on top and relatively unscathed 4 years later. Update. So it has been 4 years since I found out about my ex-wife having multiple secret affairs. She was able to do so without much suspicion because I gave her the respect of privacy and was busy working through a degree at an Ivy League school while also paying all the rent, bills, food, and both of our student loans. A lot of the confusion and anger I faced, as most people posting here probably feel currently, is cleared. In fact, I don't care about my ex-wife at all. I care more about more recent exes who showed me more kindness. But it is still a mystery to me why someone would cheat when they are with someone that is out of their league. This is not something I knew at the time, but has been repeatedly pointed out to me in countless ways and sometimes directly by others. Why she cheated will probably always be a mystery. I am well above average looking. I was always home at night spending my free time with her. I am highly educated, physically fit, have no mental illness, decently, charismatic, and set up for a very good career. We got along well and had a lot in common. On paper, it seemed like many boxes were checked. Obviously, there are many intangible aspects that determine why someone cheats. But I occasionally dwell on this question, laugh to myself, and move on with my day. I have since dated a handful of women, all lovely and interesting people who have helped me fully understand just how crap my ex-wife was as a person. Since she was one of the first people I dated in high school, I didn't have many comparisons. All those affair partners. She was hopelessly confessing her love for our long on. So here I am, for years later, leaving my past long behind. I have rebuilt my life from the ground up. Next week is my 2-year anniversary with my lovely, caring, intelligent, and beautiful girlfriend. She is the kind of partner I always deserved, and I make sure she knows how much I appreciate her every day. She's even got a job that she's good at and pays her well. We have an apartment next to the river and a goofy dog. My career and finances are strong and well within upper/middle class territory. We have no debt, no alimony, and no contact. On a few occasions, I have thought about her and realized I don't hate her anymore. I wish neither harm nor goodwill towards her. I just don't care. Okay, well, maybe I hope things generally don't work out for her. I can now say that I am much happier and better off by my decision to divorce my ex-wife. So there is hope for all of you out there that are currently knee-deep in trying to make it through the day. Have faith in yourself to come out the other side as a wiser and stronger person.